Hello everyone, my name is Anna Urzua and I am going to be presenting how to thrive with weighted squats. For the purposes of this course, students will be required to complete a prerequisite course before any enrollment, and I have here 3 learning objectives that the students will be able to complete once they complete this course, and they will be able to move on to the next course sessions, which is going to be a little bit of a challenge. And for the sake of the topic that I will be presenting today, I will be concentrating on the learning objective number 1, where I will be explaining how the student will be able to perform a goblet squat while having proper alignment on their back, on their foot stance, and positioning. Now, these are a couple of examples of how the student will be able to perform a goblet squat. Now, in order to perform a goblet squat, the student will require a dumbbell weight and concentrate on their back position. Now, let's go to the goblet squat on the far left hand of the screen. This is where it is very key and imperative to have a wide stance. The foot placement is critical to have your feet flat on the floor. Now for the dumbbell weight, you can have a light weight if you're moderate to advanced student, and you will be able to choose a weight that's comfortable for you. For the moderate weight, it's going to be moderate to heavy based on your physical capability. For the back position, you're going to only have one option, which is the student is going to be able to only perform a goblet squat with keeping their back straight. And they will have to have their face forward. They cannot be looking down, because then this is an indication that the weight is too heavy. Now we're going to be covering the wide stance, the foot placement, the moderate weight, light weight, the straight back, and the face forward position. Why these are critical, how these can be implemented, and I'll give just a few examples of each. So for the first area that we'll be covering will be the wide stance. Now, anytime you want to perform the goblet squat, you always want to keep your feet shoulder width apart. Why this is so critical is because when you have your feet shoulder width apart, and when you descend your weight that you have, your body will be able to push up, ascend the body back into a starting position without having to have any type of injury to your body. So an example of the wide stance would be getting your feet getting your legs ready, like if they're going to be crouching down, and this is going to kind of give you an insight of what your body's going to be performing when you're going to be doing the goblet squat. The foot placement is also critical. Your toes should be pointing outward. Your feet are going to be flat on the floor, and they're going to be angled at a 90 degree. So this is not set in stone for everyone. This is just a general insight of the foot placement, and you can always accommodate what you think your level of comfort is. So when you choose a moderate weight, it should not impact the level of your performance, meaning every weight is going to be varied depending on your level of fitness. So for example, an indication where the weight is too heavy, the back is going to arch. Why? because it's taking off more load from the body. Therefore, it's an indication that you must reduce the weight back to a regular, comfortable capacity for your body type. So this is why I have under the moderate weight, that it should be comfortable, but it will vary from person to person. For the lightweight, if a person is unfamiliar with a goblet squat and has only done a body weight goblet squat, they can play around with a lightweight, anything from 5 to 10 pounds or 10 to 12, depending again on their fitness capacity. So a lightweight would be an indication, again, 5 pounds, 8 pounds, 10 pounds, which is relatively easy to lift without, dripping sweat, or you can't, gasp, or you're gasping for air. That's not the indication here. It's just something easy, something you can maneuver, and you're basically not trying when you have a light weight versus moderate weight. For the back position, you are going to have your back straight as if you are already in the military per se. You're going to stand firm, you're going to stand straight, you're going to stand erect, and the back is going to be neutral and it's going to be vertical. It's not going to be semi-comfortable where it's semi-slouched, those of us who are a little bit lazy, no offense to anyone out there. But you're going to have all your body position in alignment as a unit. And this is key because the back is extremely important when you're dealing with any type of weight capacity. It's going to lock and load and try to prevent any injury from occurring to your body. This is why a straight back is extremely important dealing with any type of weight or any type of exercise that you're dealing with, because you always want to be mindful to your body, because you want to maintain proper form in any type of exercise, especially dealing with weights. So for facing forward category, again, your face will be facing as if you're looking in the mirror. When you look in the mirror, it's just something that comes natural to someone. You face forward, everything is pointed into the direction of the mirror, your nose, your mouth, your eyes forward, and this is exactly what you should be doing when you perform a goblet squat. The back is going to be straight. You have a moderate weight or a weight that is comfortable for your physical capacity. And all of these sub-elements to performing a goblet squat are critical. This is going to keep that proper form. This is also going to help you along your journey of helping others as you progress through your fitness goal. For the process level, each learner will be able to get a dumbbell weight for the level of comfort. Again, everyone has a specific fitness goal. Some can lift heavier loads than others, so each student will be able to decide on their own personal weight capacity. This is also in addition to choosing the squat variation. So if a student chooses not to perform a goblet squat, I as the instructor will be able to give them a squat variation list of what they can decide on with their body weight first, and then get their weight that they feel comfortable performing that squat variation to perform that specific exercise. So again, even as the stance is important and the position of the feet is important with the goblet squat, this is also still imperative when a student decides on a squat variation. So the learner still has to decide on the comfort of the stance, the comfort of the positioning of the feet. For the student's stance, again, the feet shoulder width apart should always be first and intact, and then comes the position of the feet placement, meaning the heels will be flat on the floor and the toes, will be pointed outward. The position of the feet is always just an indication that the toes will be pointed outward, meaning in the opposite direction of being neutral. Now, for some reason, if the level of discomfort is too high, then each student will be able to just kind of bring inward just a smidge their toes until they set their level of comfort to perform either the goblet squat or any type of squat variation. The student then will be able to squat, meaning they will be able to have the weight capacity in front of them, and then descend, bring down slowly their body with the weight, pushing their hips and butt back until their upper legs are below or at parallel level, and then with their heels they're going to drive up their body with that capacity and push up, ascend their body back to the starting position, thrusting their hips forward. This is an indication that they have squatted appropriately and properly without injuring themselves. Now for the lesson plan. The time that I would give the students to get their appropriate weight would be 10 minutes. As far as the instruction, I would be able to provide the concepts of each type of information, starting from the weights that they need, the stance, and the foot placements, in addition to defined examples to demonstrate what the goblet squat is and the type of squat variations there are. So every type of squat is not always set in stone. For the assessment, I would give a face-to-face lesson. Because this is going to be held in a gym class, I would be the instructor and the students would be in a fitness-friendly environment class. I would also give them verbal cues as to what they can do to improve their proper form. Also, a quiz would be in placement of what they have learned throughout the course, kind of as a feedback to me if everything that I have demonstrated and instructed them has been cemented in their thought process, and they are able to execute a squat depending upon if they choose a goblet squat, or a squat variation from what I have demonstrated throughout the course. Then I would give them that assessment. The process would be 20 minutes of instruction. This would allow me to define the steps of the goblet squat as well as the squat variations and the concept of the proper form. Why is it so important? Give them again the examples and provide step by step throughout those squat variations for that type of exercise. And again, I would initially perform the demonstration. That way they can see the type of squat when you descend, when you ascend, the types of body movements that will be assisting you when you push your body back up to the starting point. And I will give them also the opportunity to physically demonstrate if they want to perform what I have initially demonstrated. So if I go in front of the class and I demonstrate a goblet squat with a specific weight capacity that's comfortable for me, students can follow suit with my demonstration, and that way I can go around and assess each and every student and see visibly how deep or how they ascend back drive with that driving force capacity, and I'll be able to modify and improve their form.